Right at the beginning of June, I did one of the, I guess that's going to end up being a bonus writing with James now. But you may have noticed I've been putting out a little bit more content. I'm going to try doing 2 videos a week. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stick with that, but I'm going to give it a shot. So Thursday nights and Monday nights I'm going to be trying to put something up. And since this is the last upload day of the month, this would be a writing with James day, and I just felt like doing one. So, plus, just this topic has come up a lot. I've noticed a lot of people on YouTube have been talking about family history and the genealogy research, and I just thought I'd put this out there. I don't know how many people are going to be that interested in it. I thought I'd give you a quick rundown, because I got into that about 10 years ago. I got into doing family research. It is very addicting. It's a lot of fun to do. And for me, there were 2 very important lines that I wanted to try and chase after. I'll just give you some quick rundowns on that. My mother's side of the family, her mother's family, was Chickasaw Indian. That's where the Chickasaw Indian comes from. But you got to go back to like my 4 times great-grandfather to find a full-blood Chickasaw Indian. And most of the people in the family were intrigued by that line. Me and my mother, we were more interested in the Irish part, which is my mother's father's family. Partly because it's a shorter trip back. My great-great-grandfather was from Ireland. And so we were all, and plus it's a little bit of a mystery. There were all kinds of stories on my grandmother's side of the family, my grandfather's side of the family. Not so many stories got passed down, because my great-great-grandfather actually died fairly young. He was only 43 when he died. And my great-grandfather was only 6 when his father died, so not much of an opportunity to pass down many stories. And my great-great-grandfather was actually, he stowed away on a ship when he was 16 years old and came to America. And this kind of research relies very heavily on the paper trail. Well, when you stow away on a ship, there is no paper trail. And then to top it off, a lot of the records in Ireland were destroyed, they've over the years. But I did kind of figure out, this is just a guess, I can't confirm any of it, but I think, he was probably from the southern part of Ireland, around Cork, around in there. Like I say, that's kind of a semi-educated guess anyway. One thing I did confirm that we did not know before is his middle name started with a J, and I'm guessing that may very well be James, which my great-grandfather's name was James, and that's who I was named after. So that's kind of cool. So not a whole lot of doors open there, but I did fill in a few blanks. And then on the other side, my dad's side, that was actually a big one. And I'm going to try and keep this brief, because there's a whole lot of story there. But I did not know, I've touched on this briefly a couple of times. I did not know my father growing up. And information about him was not really shared openly. I knew his name, and I knew he was from Kentucky, and I knew I had a half-brother named Larry. And that was really where I centered things. I kind of assumed my father might be dead by the time I made contact with anybody, because he was not a good person, and he didn't take very good care of himself. And when you put those 2 things together, you're probably not going to live very long. And indeed he was. When I finally did make contact with somebody, he had died about 10 years earlier. But I really centered it on my half-brother, because I just thought it was really strange that I had a half-brother out there that didn't even know I existed. And then plus, maybe it's a man thing. We carry the name our whole lives. You want to know where that name came from. When the internet finally came along and I broke down, my cheap ass broke down and decided to go ahead and put money into Ancestry.com so I could get all the records, I finally actually did make contact with one of my dad's cousins. And like I say, my dad had passed away 10 years before. Unfortunately, she had lost contact with Larry, didn't know where he was, and that also does not end well. 'Cause I did get some information and confirm some birth dates and stuff like that, and I kept looking and looking and couldn't find him. And it finally struck me I never checked the death records. And sure enough, he had died 5 years before. And so I never did get to, and that's all I really wanted to do, was to speak to him. I was not expecting this big emotional union. Can't say reunion because he didn't even know I existed, but I did not expect anything like that. I just wanted to speak to him, and never got the opportunity. But that did open the door to other things, things I didn't even think about. You know, my father had a brother who had kids, and so I've got cousins out there that I didn't know about. And as it turns out, I had 2 other half-brothers that I didn't know about. And then plus, just following that line back, I've actually followed my father's name back farther than any other line. Found out that I don't have the last name I'm supposed to have, because which, if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you know my last name is Robinson. Well, my 4 times great-grandfather, who lived in South Carolina in the late 1700s, was actually named Robertson, and that was the family name, was Robertson. He had 5 kids, and in that area of South Carolina, for some reason, they were really bad. City clerks and stuff like that were really bad about misspelling the name Robertson as Robinson. And so out of his 5 kids, 4 of them that had the name Robinson put on their birth certificate. And of course, you know, most common folk back then didn't read or write very well. They just took it, didn't question it, marked it somehow so they know which one went to which kid, and just went about their business. And it wasn't until these kids grew up and went to buy land or something they would need their birth certificate for, and they would say, well, hey, this isn't the name that you're giving us. This is for Robinson, not Robertson. And the choices were basically either go through the expense and trouble of having your name legally changed, or just accept the name that was on the birth certificate. And my great-great-great-grandfather was one of them that just said, screw it, I'll just be Robinson. And so there you go. That's why I have the name that I have. So that line, which was originally Robertson, actually followed it all the way back to Scotland. And the family is originally from a little town called Cromarty, Scotland. So that's kind of cool. So I've got a good piece of that part of the world covered. Like I say, most of the lines, if you follow them back far enough, they lead to England. I've got Ireland covered, and now Scotland. So, so if that's something you're interested in, if you want to research your family history, I would encourage you to do it. If you have a common name, it's kind of tough. I've got a fairly common name. It does help if you can get as many birth dates and birthplaces in recent history as you possibly can. Makes it a lot easier to start putting those things together. But if it's something you're interested in, I would encourage you to do it. However, and I've been trying to keep this, go through this as quick as I can, because one of the main reasons I wanted to do this is the DNA testing. They have that offshoot of genealogy now where you can take a DNA test. And I've thought about it, and aside from the hesitation I have of putting my DNA out there, there is the fact that it's not particularly cheap. It costs about $100 through Ancestry.com. But the thing is, it's not exact. And it's something I guess I kind of knew already, but then I'm going to leave a link to a CBC News broadcast, CBC News story from a couple of years ago, actually, because that's a Canadian broadcasting company. They did a story using twins. These twins sent their DNA in, and they got back different results. Now, how is that possible? You know, so really, it's just kind of their best guess. It's not an exact thing, and it just seemed like seems like a lot of money to spend on something that's not exact. Plus, I've already pretty much done the work. I've known for years about the Chickasaw Indians, and I've known for years that my part that comes from Ireland, and now I know through my father's side I'm from Scotland, and then pretty much every other line leads to England. So maybe I just don't need to do it, but I don't know. I guess it's just been coming up so much, I decided maybe I should just go ahead and put this out there. Encourage you, if you want to do family research, do it. It's actually a lot of fun, but you might want to think twice about the whole DNA thing, because I don't know if it's really worth the money. Okay, like I say, I don't know how many people are going to be that interested in this, but there it is. As I said time before last, I'm gonna make this the little thing at the end. I want to use it to promote smaller channels. Now I made the decision. What I'm going to eventually do is use it to promote channels that are under 1,000 subscribers, and then show you a quick little clip. And if it's somebody you want to go check out, feel free to go check them out. But there are going to be a couple of exceptions. This is definitely one of them. She is well over 1,000 subscribers. And again, if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I've brought her up several times. It's Justine Stafford, that's who I'm talking about. And this is somebody who helped me out a lot a few months ago. I'm not going to get into exactly. It's kind of between me and her right now, and I think that's where I need to leave it for the moment. I may tell the story eventually, I'm just not ready to. But she actually took the time, very kind of her, considering she didn't really know me from Adam. Took the time and helped me out a lot, and so I'm just going to ask as a favor, if you would go check out her YouTube channel. She does comedy and stuff, and she's going to go beyond YouTube. YouTube is very much a stepping stone. She is going to go on to bigger things. And her humor may not be your cup of tea. It may not be your kind of humor, and that's fine. I just asked it as a favor to me. You go check out her channel. She's got a lot of short videos. She does a lot of quick short videos. Check one of them out. Leave her a nice comment, an encouraging comment. Everybody needs encouragement sometimes. So just as a favor to me, go over there and leave a nice comment for her. And I'm going to show you a clip of one of her. It's one of the ones I shared that seemed to get the best reaction. There's a quick clip of a video from Justine Stafford. And I will leave a link to her channel in the description, also at the end. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the story. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, not necessarily in that order. And I will see you next time.
Is it okay if I smoke in here? Because it broke my heart. Am I busy? This is the quietest I've been for Valentine's in my whole life. Well, I don't know, a global pandemic, social distancing. It has been the toughest year for me. That was my career. That's it now. People don't need me anymore. Netflix and chill. Tinder. The last few years have been so tough, I've had to try and upskill. I worked on a dating call site for a while, but the requests were ridiculous.
All right, so let me get this straight. You want me to get Ross and Rachel to fall in love so that they don't go on a break? Just skip to season 10 and stop wasting my time.
In 2018, I had to do an ad campaign because the money wasn't coming in. I'm not proud of it, but hey, it paid the bills. You'll have no love lost when you see our prices here at Harvey's Hardware. Yeah, this is the bow and arrow I've used since day one. This is the bow, this is the arrow. This gets filled up with love serum, which is now gluten-free. Yeah, I've had a few accidents in the past. Oh, don't worry, I have the safety lock on, it's fine.